Welcome with us in search of the lost truth of humans. A story made up of humans who walk the earth to discover the secret of life. Spiritual as materialistic, we recall the essence of the human being in contact with the supernatural, watching beyond.
The fantastic peculiarities of the human being makes everything magical. When studying the same nature, we discover innate qualities attributable to both. The human being resembling nature in all its aspects. Nature shows us a fascinating side. Everything mutates on the basis of what it depicts. It covets its possessions by understanding what fortune is and keeping it hidden. Intelligently recognizes its representative by learning which is the figure that most exchanges energy with her and resembles its shape on the basis of it. A harmonious depiction, which slowly gives shape and image to itself. It is the mutation of nature, a process linked to an environmental connection of everything it comes into contact with. Natural forces interacting with each other. It settles on its position and begins a slow transformation. It creates its own ecosystem, shapes its creation, a process that concerns everything that contains life in nature. No matter how small life is, it has this ability to adapt, to change according to the things it comes into contact with. With an exchange of energy, everything is mutated, so the evolutionary process occurs. Among imperial ruins or eroded paradises, life surfaces and shapes its own creation. Energy triggers this process, the rest is timing. Mirroring itself, nature changes its shape based on what it depicts. It shows a resemblance to the beings that teem that ecosystem. Then shrubs will grow resembling the same beings, or an aquarium will take the shape of those who visit it more often. Adapting nature, it doesn't matter what has trampled that ecosystem or whatever object that has been lost. It grows by adapting to the same spaces it has. Like a climbing plant, it will grip following the object. By modeling, it is a second subject who performs the mutative act. With the power of thought, nature mutates. The subject will model the creature as desired or in turn decide to change himself. The mutation, the change, matters more than existing genetics. So it comes the beautiness of nature. According to the thought a subject has in the thought of a second person, thought makes the difference, playing the essential part of the mutation. A philosophy brought on. As you see, it is our thought that influences our neighbor. His behavior is mine. In the same way, in nature, the rule of we are for what we show ourselves applies. The ecosystem, seeing the same subject behave in sort of way, by similarity, associate determined characteristics, change our being, our progressive behavior, which means following a lead to a repetitive attitude, where an attitude makes the protracted attitude. It is certainly not a dress that makes us the person we are, but it can help us to take the enlightenment to be so, by modeling ourselves oriented towards a goal. It is the starting point for a mutation. In support of the theory of the evolution of the species, we affirm that it is therefore not only an adaptation for survival instinct on the part of the subject to evolve and survive, but an intelligent recognition of the person by the ecosystem that changes the subject himself, based on how the subject demonstrates and behaves. If we want to facilitate the process of change, we must therefore begin to show ourselves as that change. The rest, once again, is timing. We have had the opportunity to deepen the might of Stonehenge. From what we have ascertained, simple object positioned with a certain thought in precise points, although not energetically relevant, can influence, in a positive way, help us in health by obtaining positive energy from the circuit to revitalize us and to make the movement of energy flow better and consequently of all materials harmoniously to improve the mutation of nature. Would you know how to apply it? So it occurs a spontaneous mutation of nature, of the ecosystem, without human work to modify its growth. A lot of work saved, a lot to be learned by society to solve many issues, and it all look at energy manipulation. Stonehenge, a Neolithic site, a period of prehistory from 8000 BC to 3000 BC, located in Wiltshire, England. It is thought that a British tribe built this site, but defining them British is not entirely appropriate. More specifically, a tribe of enlightened people, detached from what was ordinary British of the time, with innovative ideas regarding medicine, different from opposing populations. It is possible Stonehenge was a place used to illuminate people inside the circle. This place served to bring illumination inside the circumference, which gave greater benefit beneficial power to those who work inside it. The site serves as a place for healing rituals through the use of power deriving from the illumination. In addition to this, it serves to think better. One of the functions of illumination is to irradiate a subject or place and to enhance its psychic and cognitive abilities, vitalizing energy. Illumination exploits the radiation of objects or subjects, in specific cases, a convoy of energy from outside of the circuit, which bring an energy based on the positive or negative thought imprinted on the illumination circuit. Studying the positioning of the stones, it is possible to discover that they act as electropositive radiance for the illumination of the circle, even if, to reiterate it, it is not exactly the material used that makes the difference, however much it influences, but the positioning, the structure of the circuit. The whole circle inside the stones is highly illuminated, especially the center of it, so this positioning creates a circuit, above all in the case in which the stones are arranged in an arc, because they do not disperse the energy but focusing on the inside of the circle, since the geometry of the stone structures give a sense of closure of the same energy, also making the psychological work of mental connection with the subject within it easier to be achieved. The additional internal structures serve to strengthen this focus of energy towards the center. It was therefore a circle of enlightened ones, probably illuminated by the time of humans, centralized to that point by the very stones that catalyzed and radiated the center, the new illumination. The circuit of stones absorbs energy and by force of attraction by the very stones convoys this energy within the circle. If the circuit had been slightly open, clearly the energy would not have been concentrated in the center but rather dispersed. Therefore a sanctuary, to reason and operate with the illumination inside, also therefore precisely for curative purposes. Another function not least is to act as an insulation from the outside, from disturbances and from the illumination that is outside the circuit. But who was to carry out this work therefore? Apparently an engineer with an intelligence aimed precisely at energy, probably a priest. From random constructions moved by humans, nature takes its shape and erects its own empire. And like every work, everything acquires its own meaning, a rationale for which every element is positioned in that specific way, and with the right thought, wishes are expressed. An energy circuit is created capable of favoring the progress of certain thoughts, and with little effort, amazing results are obtained, all at the rate of a single thought. Nature mutates, and the miracle happens. All very fascinating, the mutation of nature when it is applied in benevolent circumstances. However, nature does not always appear to us as beautiful as we think, despite it also shows us the ugly side, which is not always accepted. But what does ugly mean? Ugly in appearance, ugly in character, beauty and ugliness based on who? What if they were antecedent of the same thing? A serious problem in society is present, which in ignorance leads us back to appearances. Beauty and ugliness, the racism of this thing, sinks us, binds us all like a boomerang effect that returns, subjecting ourselves to propagate it, where the ugly is discriminated by a feeling moved by appearance, judgment manifested from preconception of what is beautiness and what is ugliness. As it was said before concerning it, nature also moves in this direction for similarity, as so indicating the ugly as a criminal and the handsome as the best figure, attributing to each subject or object characteristic that as an intelligent human being we consciously accept them or not, and we stress it to remark how ignorant this prejudice is. Cesare Lombroso was right in his statement, but he also made that big mistake of not considering the human being as a subject able to understand and want. It is true that the way we show ourselves similarity occurs, which explains a lot of the whole process of the mutation in one word and concept, where nature changes and shapes us, transforms us, resembling other subjects. Appearance plays into this. Matter moves and depicts itself where it finds its own representation. Luck attracts luck, as bad luck does the same way. A dimple can make us criminals, but only from the moment in which human nature joins a second subject who yields to the conviction of the same process of resembling to that attitude, call it stupidity that give origin to mistakes. It must be said, moreover, that a particular sign in our body can somehow, due to a matter of physiological change, bring us a more or less certain characteristic. We have experienced it and we affirm it. In the case of the dimple, the wickedness will be more manifested in the person, so this explains the mystery lay behind this statement. What we are certain is that the concept that all subjects reputed as handsome are the best subjects remains an ignorant conviction. As a subject for how much beauty shown on the outside, the ugly part that is there is not displayed, and facts may be the opposite of what are shown. Belief plays the main role, as stupidity when following other people's mistakes does. In all this, mental weakness plays its part. Racism is ignorant, and society does not put us in the condition of trusting each other. By the way, it ties us to materialistic value, so we struggle to outclass it.